Okay, I'm back. Oh, okay, I'm back. Okay. Hi everyone. I don't even know if anyone's here. I can't it's so hard for me to see these things. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm sorry I'm running late. I just feel like there were some technical issues. If you're here, let me know at any time. I'm going to make sure I'm checking. I think I'm getting better at this. So, welcome everyone. I'm Paige Reckman. I am the founder of this Facebook community. It's all the same forest. And I also have a private community off of social media called the Forever Forest that you can also join. It's to help bereaved pet parents as they're coping with the loss of their pets. So that's why all of us are here. Just in case anyone is coming in a little late, I'll just share a little bit. It always feels so, oh, shh. Okay, sorry. It always feels so good for me to come into this group and say hi. I started it almost a year ago. I'm actually going to be planning a little event here on Facebook to celebrate. I don't want to say celebrate, but just to acknowledge the year of this community being available to people. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so anyway, I'm the founder of this community. I have a private one. If anyone wants to join it, I'll post below more info about that later. Oh, someone's here. Hi, Daisha. Thanks for joining me. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, as always, that people are in this group, but it's nice to see when someone is here. Nice to meet you. Um, so, in case other people are coming, I just want to share, I want to pop in here more. I've scheduled a few events this month in my calendar to prioritize coming in and talking about things that may be helpful for anyone who has lost a pet. So, you can check out the events section. There'll be stuff. I think it's like every Friday around this time is when I had time. So, it's in my calendar. I want to be in here more, and I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you a little bit more in here. Heart, heart. So yeah, some exciting news, a little off topic, but I'm going to be posting about it more. Is I don't want to get into the whole story now. I'll do another event for that. But I finished a book that was inspired by my cat Squiggles. I just finished it this week and I'm so excited about it. And I have it here. I'm just going to show you guys. I did it on my iPad, but I want to show you the cover of it, and I'm gonna be getting more feedback. I want more feedback from people, but here's the cover. It's called It's All the Same Forest. That's how I came up with the name of this group. So I'm gonna try to do a Kickstarter campaign for it, and there'll be more to come with that. I'm so proud of this story. I have so much to share about it. That's not for today's video, but it'll be up and coming in our community, so stay tuned for more. But let's go ahead, let's get on track. I want to talk a little bit about the what ifs that come up after losing a pet because I think it's a really common struggle. Oh, thank you, Daisha. I'm so proud of it. I can't even begin to tell you. Um, but yeah, let's get into the what ifs because I know it's something I've struggled with. It's something that keep many of us from. Uh, it's just like a cycle of self blame that we tend to get into after we lose a pet, and there's I have a lot to say about it. So the first thing I want to talk about is that what ifs aren't always bad. So we're going to talk about how they can actually help us and why they exist in the first place. Then we're going to talk about when they're not helping us, when we get stuck in these what ifs, and how to tell the difference between is this actually helping me or is this not helping me. And then I also want to go over what's underneath the what ifs. So when we're questioning our behaviors, what we could have done differently, um, what if I noticed my pet was sick sooner? What if I had tried a different treatment? What if I didn't leave the door open? There's endless what ifs that we tend to tell ourselves. And so I just want to dissect it a little bit so that it won't hurt as bad when it's happening. And there's just a little more awareness of what you can do when the what ifs come up. So first and foremost, all right, when what ifs and when they're trying to help us. So in my private community, we had a guest speaker a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it was such a powerful reminder for me. He reminded me that our brains, they're always trying to help us, even when it seems like they're hurting us, even when it seems like they're creating more pain. If we can keep in the back of our minds, what is serving me here? Like why am I thinking this? How is this serving me? It can help to expand our perspective. And so it's not easy. Sometimes it takes digging to actually discover, what is happening in my brain? Why is it doing this to me? Um, but in the case of what ifs, I really think that we have them because our brains are trying to help us process and grow and make better decisions in the future. What if they actually help us learn from our experience? And so, I'll give you an example. When we say something like, what if I had noticed my pet was getting sick sooner? That to me is a way of your brain trying to learn how to do things better later on. And to be honest, this has happened to me. I have had pets that, when I was younger, they started getting a little sick and then passed away before I even knew what was going on, right? And when Squiggles got older, that meant when she was looking off, I would just take her straight to the vet. Those what ifs from the past of like, oh, what if I had known they were not feeling well? That has transformed into lessons for me that really helped me extend Squiggles' life, I think. And so to just recognize when I'm caught up in the what ifs about my pet, it's because my brain wants to prevent pain in the future, wants me to know that next time, I can do things differently. Maybe sometimes we can't, and I'm going to get into that in a moment. But it's a way for our brains to just try to prevent us from having pain in the future. That's the general way that I think that it's serving us. So let's get into when the serving actually turns into hurting. Um, I think that what ifs tend to go overboard when they try to convince us that we had more control over our past than we really do. And this is like a really hard, it's a simple concept, but it's like a hard pill to swallow. And that is that the world is complete chaos. There are no patterns. There are things happen like we have no control over so many things in our lives. Sometimes we do have control. Sometimes, there are things we can do to help, you know, make life the way we want it. But the the world is insanely chaotic. It's just crazy. And so when humans have to kind of grapple with that, it makes us feel helpless. And I'm telling you, there is no feeling for me that makes me want to crawl out of my skin more than when I'm feeling powerless or helpless. Like there is nothing I can do. And so the what ifs start to become less helpful when they're giving us this idea that we have more control than is humanly possible. We just don't. Um, and so, I think that this is one that it takes a while to process. It's not going to happen in like a 10-15 minute Facebook video, but I hope that when you are starting to gather these what ifs, oh, I could have done this differently, I could have done that differently, I hope that you can try to remember that um, you have a lot less control in life than you think you do. And I hate to tell you that. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just the reality. We can't prevent mistakes from happening. We can't stop our pets from getting sick or aging. Sadly, death, it is a part of life. It's something that we have very little control or no control over, really. It's inevitable, and it's sad, and it's hard, and I know it's a helpless feeling that comes with that. And that brings me to my next point about what ifs. And that is that what ifs are thoughts, right? They're typically these things that we think about in our minds. We're spiraling out of control. And underneath the thoughts are feelings. And I think it's, for many people, it's a lot easier, quote unquote, easier, more natural maybe, to get caught up in our thoughts than it is to take a pause, a moment, and be with our emotions and our feelings. Because our feelings, they're important to attend to, especially when you're grieving. And, the what ifs that come up, they can bring up a lot of feelings of guilt, right? Of frustration. confusion, and underneath those feelings are just some raw emotions of sadness. My pet is no longer here anymore. Anger, right? I'm just so angry that this happened. And then just the despair of grief. It's a really uncomfortable emotion. And, processing emotions is, it's something that is not easy to do. It's great if you go to therapy, if you have a friend that's really understanding and will give you space to just be with your emotions. Emotions are something that, again, I cannot explain it in a 15-minute Facebook video, but there are lots of ways that people adapt to either avoiding their feelings completely or getting completely overwhelmed and wrapped up in them. And so emotions are something that, again, in my private community, I have a whole course on navigating the first month after you lose your pet, and we touch on processing emotions. It's something that, yeah, everyone is unique, everyone is individual, but there are ways to figure out how to go from the what ifs and the spiraling out of control in your mind into the feelings and really processing those, because that can help to relieve some of the pressure of the thoughts of the what ifs. Um, let's see. I just want to make sure I'm checking my notes. So yeah, I think that's the gist. That's everything. The last thing I'll say is that when it comes to emotions, again, this really great speaker we had in the Forever Forest a couple weeks ago talked about this method that he uses for emotions called AVA. It stands for acknowledge, validate, and action. And I thought that was a really helpful mnemonic device. Um, so yeah, so anyway, if you want to watch that talk, it's in the community. But I'm gonna do a talk next week that explains that a little more. I think it's at 11 o'clock around this time, but you can watch it even if it's not live. And um, what's so great about the AVA method is it's not just like, okay, I have my emotions, now what? There's this third component of it, which is action. And I think that, that piece is something I tend to forget about for myself, but it's one that I want to explore more. And in the Forever Forest for the spring equinox, I'm doing like a 5 day, I don't want to call it a challenge, just like a 5 day journey where you're going to be able to explore how to take action according to your emotions and according to your values. So we have like a whole values like refresh for spring happening. That'll be in 2 weeks. I'll share more about that coming soon. But thank you for those of you who are here. I can't see who's live. I don't know why. I was able to on my previous video, but yeah, if you watch this later on, let me know your thoughts for what ifs, if you have any other questions about them. And like I said, I'm going to be in here more frequently doing lives. It's I'm learning it's really hard for me to respond to all of the messages in our community because I could spend just hours responding to everyone's pet photos. I just get I like see all of them, and I want to type up a thoughtful response to all of them, and then I hours later I'm like, oh my god, I really have like work to do. So but I'm gonna try to come on here more live, and if you have any questions at all, always post them in the community, tag me so I see it, and we can go over other topics that you want to discuss. So thank you for joining me today. I hope everyone here has a peaceful weekend, and we'll be in touch soon. Okay, take care. Bye.